Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be going over some NFL experts' mock drafts and who they have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting. Now, there's a couple that I've set to the side for separate videos, guys like Lance Zierlein and Daniel Jeremiah. Maybe I'll throw Mel Kiper in there as well, we will see, but I want to start off today with Dan Parr. His mock draft 1.0 had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting Mike Green, edge defender, out of Marshall. And I know a lot of people are probably going to be happy with that one. I believe Greg Auman said on Twitter, Greg Auman of Fox Sports, like, hey, if Mike Green's available for the Bucs, yeah, everybody's going to be pretty darn happy about that. And it's understandable to see why. An overall grade of 90.4 in 2023, and then an overall grade of 92.4 in 2024, Mike Green has been an elite edge defender during his college football career. Okay, he had 17 sacks in 2024, 6 in 2023. You take a look at his overall 2024 grades according to Pro Football Focus, a 91.4 pass rush grade, that's elite. A run defense grade of 90.2, that's elite. A true pass set pass rush grade of 90.9, that's elite. A pass rush win rate of 20.1% towards the top of college football, and a run stopping grade of 9.4% towards the top of college football. He is coming in at 6'4", 248 pounds. The dude is an absolute athletic specimen, played a ton of outside tackle. I mean, that's what he did basically throughout the entirety of his career at Marshall. He played 695 snaps in 2024 outside the tackle. Great fit for a Todd Bowles style of defense, right? And while some people can argue that, and it is a fair argument, that, hey, Mike Green never really played a ton of great competition this past season while at Marshall. They did play Ohio State, and he did post a grade of 71.4, which is nothing to sneeze at all, in my opinion. There is still an argument to be made that, like, hey, yes, Mike Green does need to prove himself at the next level, that he can handle bigger competition, right? But I personally have no issues with it. I think that we've seen the Buccaneers time and time again swing on guys at college football who need to take that next step, and they just do. Cody Mock's a good example. Ali Marpet's a good example of that as well. And I think Mike Green would slot right into that. I mean, he's an absolute stud. He's an absolute beast. I would have absolutely no issues if the Buccaneers were to take Mike Green at pick number 19. The next one we have is Cynthia Froyland, and she actually did a 3-round mock draft here. In the first round, she had them taking Armand Membou at pick number 19. Now that's a bit interesting, in my opinion, to see a guard go here in round 1, right? Now, Armand Membou is the 21st overall prospect here on Pro Football Focus's big board. Mike Green is number 11, by the way. But to go back to Armand Membou, look, he had a very great grade last year in this past college football season with a 90.4 overall grade. That was elite coming out of Missouri. He had a run blocking grade of 87.6. That was near elite. A pass blocking grade of 85.5. That was near elite as well. A zone grade of 87.5. So he fits very well in a Tampa Bay Buccaneers zone running system. A gap grade of 76.7 and a true pass set pass blocking grade of 80. You take a look at his overall 2024 alignment, however, he has spent the entirety of his college career playing right tackle. Now, he did start the past 2 years at right tackle. He did make a big jump from 2023 to 2024. In 2023, he had a grade of 67.1, and then that jumped to a 90.4 overall grade. But again, and I will say Missouri did play better schools. They played Auburn, they played Alabama, they played Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas A&M. They played some big name schools, right? And overall, Armand Membou did a really good job, right? But the first thing that kind of comes to mind is making that shift from tackle over to guard. We saw the Buccaneers try that with Luke Goedeke, and it did not necessarily go very well. They moved him back to tackle, and he did a fantastic job, right? You could run the risk of running into that problem again. And to be frank, the Buccaneers have bigger needs than offensive guard right now. I've talked before that I would not mind Ben Bredeson coming back to this football team because you have 4 capable starters along your offensive line. So do you really want to spend pick number 19 on an offensive guard convert who has to move from tackle to guard, by the way, when you could address other positions of need? I'm kind of more of the mindset of, hey, maybe address offensive guard in free agency. That's my opinion. But Freeland was not done. She actually took an edge defender in round number 2. She took Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State. Now, Jack Sawyer is the 22nd player on Pro Football Focus's big board. He's pretty darn good. An overall grade of 90.5 in 2024 and 89.5 overall grade in 2023. You take a look at his 2024 grades, a pass rush grade of 89.4. That was near elite. A run defense grade, in fact, that was elite. Apologies. A run defense grade of 82.5, that was very good. A true pass rush grade of 90.7, that was elite. Pass rush win rate grade of 17.7%, that's towards the top of college football. However, a run stop rate of 5.1, that was below average by a decent margin. But coming out of an organization like Ohio State is always a good thing in my opinion. I'm always going to be down for guys who are drafted out of Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Oregon, these big name schools, because these are the types of guys who, are about as close to being ready to the NFL as you can be in a college setting, right? Because those are the most professional organizations in college football. However, where I am going to disagree with Froyland on this one is that the Bucs don't draft Ohio State players under Jason Licht. They just don't. I don't believe the Buccaneers have ever drafted a player who went to Ohio State in their era under Jason Licht, okay? Like maybe Evan Spencer was what my friend Logan was saying to me, but aside from that, we've never seen. No, sorry, Evan Spencer was drafted by Washington, so they've never drafted an Ohio State player under Jason Licht before. I don't necessarily know if that is going to, end here with Jack Sawyer. If he was available at pick 53, I'm sure the Buccaneers would heavily consider it, but I'm going to disagree with Froyland on this pick as well. Finally, Chandler Martin was the 3rd round selection at pick number 84 by Cynthia Froyland. Chandler Martin is coming in as, well, actually, hold on just a second. I can't even find him on the big board here of Pro Football Focus. So that's an interesting thing to make a note of there as well, in my opinion. I'm going to have to go ahead and look up Chandler Martin here. Chandler Martin coming in, linebacker out of Memphis. Okay, so a pretty decent school, all things considered. He did play in the 2024 Frisco Bowl, was the defensive MVP, is a 2-time first-team All-AAC player. So, could be a decent option coming in here out of Memphis. Could be a rotational linebacker, maybe a starting caliber linebacker next to SirVocea Dennis, or if Levante David is still here as well. So I don't mind that pick necessarily by Cynthia Froyland. No cornerback help in the first 3 rounds as well, though. So I would probably change that up from what Froyland did in her mock draft 1.0 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not the best, in my opinion. Moving on to Ed Holmes' mock draft 1.0. Now, this one's very interesting. He had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going wide receiver here at pick number 19 with Matthew Golden coming in out of Texas. Now, Matthew Golden's a very strong deep threat type of wide receiver, right? He had an overall grade of 74.0 this past year, according to Pro Football Focus, a receiving grade of 75.6. That's well above average. Yards per route run was 2.1. His contested catch rate was 61.1%. Well above average, a drop rate of 6.5%. That's right in terms of average. He had, let's go ahead and see here, 13 deep catches. He had some plays in the slot. However, he did play, kind of all around the yard in terms of what he did with Texas. But I really don't necessarily see the Buccaneers going with wide receiver in round number 1. I mean, Matthew Golden is a fine receiver, right? This past year, he did have 987 receiving yards and 9 receiving touchdowns, which is all well and good. He was a second-team All-Big 12 in 2023, right? But And I assume Ed Holm made this pick assuming Chris Godwin doesn't come back, but I do think Chris Godwin is coming back, so we disagree with that. But even if he didn't, you do have Jalen McMillan there. You could get Trey Palmer more involved. You could bring in another veteran wide receiver, and that would far and away be a luxury pick, in my opinion. Okay, far and away. And whenever we take a look at the next mock draft here, the last mock draft with Bucky Brooks, mock draft 1.0, he has them going wide receiver. Now, not only is that the first strange thing that I see here, but it's the wide receiver that he has them selecting. It's Emeka Egbuka coming in. I hope I said that right. Now he is the 14th best player on Pro Football Focus's big board out of Ohio State. You see where I'm going with this. Had an overall grade of 79.5 in 2024, a receiving grade of 82.4. That is very good, well above average, near elite. 2.51 yards per route run, a drop rate of 5.8%. Is a little bit above average. A contested catch rate of 59.1%. That was well above average. A grade versus man coverage of 80.9. That was near elite levels as well. But as I just mentioned with Jack Sawyer, the Bucs don't draft Ohio State players. And whenever you take that and you combine that with the fact that I just said taking a wide receiver at pick 19 doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense in my opinion, especially with, or even without Chris Godwin, I really don't see it, right? Now, he did have over 1,000 receiving yards this past season and 10 receiving touchdowns for Ohio State. That's great. I'm not trying to take away from the player. He is a national champion. He is a second-team All-Big Ten player in 2022, a third-team All-Big Ten player in 2023 and in 2024. You want to talk about all the big games he's played in? Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, Cotton Bowl, College Football Playoffs first round, 2025 Rose Bowl, 2025 Cotton Bowl Classic, the College Football National Championship. Like, Emeka is very likely NFL ready, right? And he can be a starting caliber wide receiver in this league. But is it the right fit for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? In my opinion, no. Because I do not only think that Chris Godwin is going to be back, but also, even if he wasn't, still feels like a bit of a luxury whenever you do factor in Jalen McMillan in there as well. So there you go, guys. Dan Parr had the Bucs going with Mike Green. Love that if he is available. Don't necessarily agree 100% with Cynthia Freuland's mock draft. I do understand like some of the positional need there. I just don't think the right players were selected at edge. And I don't agree with taking a guard in round 1. And with Ed Holmes and Bucky Brooks mock drafts, I don't agree with taking a wide receiver in round 1. So what do you think about these experts mock drafts in terms of Mike Green going at pick number 19 according to Dan Parr, Cynthia Freuland's 3 players, as well as wide receivers going according to Ed Holm and Brooks? Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about this down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.